Did you know that 79% of millionaires in the US were not born millionaires, but became millionaires themselves? Ramsey Solutions conducted a study and found out that they did it thanks to investments. Warren Buffett, investor, chairman, and shareholder of the holding company Berkshire Hathaway, confirms this because he himself went a similar way. His interest in investments at a young age led to the fact that today he is the richest man in the world with a capital of $120.8 billion. We've collected 18 of his most important quotes, life principles for you. Learn them and unlock your access to millions. Can you really explain to a fish what it's like to walk on land? One day on land is worth 1,000 years of talking about it, and one day running a business has exactly the same kind of value. Any knowledge you gain has to be put into practice. You can read hundreds of books and think you are a professional in a certain field, but to really become one, you have to put that knowledge into practice. In most cases, it turns out that getting results is not as easy as it was written or said. Buffett believes that this is extremely important in order to achieve good results. Therefore, he recommends not only to fill your head with knowledge, but also to take action. Then you will have an immediate result. Whether it is positive or negative, it does not matter. The most important thing is that it is real. The result that will tell you what actions you need to correct so that next time it will be better. It takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. If you think about that, you'll do things differently. Warren demands fair play. Reputation is very important to him because it helps him connect with people and build strong, trusting relationships in business. For this reason, he conducts his business honestly, is open about his income, and is not afraid to show his tax returns when necessary. This helps him to have an impeccable reputation in the community, which contributes to more favorable business deals and ultimately brings in many times more profits. When you are honest with other people, they will subconsciously read it as respect for them. People who sense your good attitude will be interested in working with you, benefiting from you, and supporting your efforts in any way possible. The difference between successful people and truly successful people is that truly successful people say no to almost everything. A person who divides their attention among many different things and refuses to do anything is unlikely to be able to pay attention to what is really important. To manage your results and achieve your goals much faster, you must learn to prioritize the things you want to do and only say yes to them. Everything secondary should be dropped. There is a very simple exercise for this. You need to divide a sheet of paper into 2 columns, and for each activity you are going to devote time to, write either in the first column labeled, "This will help me achieve my goal," or in the second column labeled, "This will distract me from my goal." It is not necessary to do extraordinary things to get extraordinary results. Many people believe that they must come up with a unique strategy that will lead them to wealth, and seeing this as the only sure way, they spend months and sometimes years in vain. As a result, they are often disappointed and convince themselves that it is not their destiny to become a millionaire. But Warren says this is a catastrophic misconception. Wealth can be achieved much more easily. After all, there is so much working and proven information in the world today that it is simply unseemly to set it aside and agonize over creating something new. It is not necessary to invent a bicycle, it's enough to pick it up and ride it. It's better to hang out with people who are better than you. Pick out associates whose behavior is better than yours, and you'll drift in that direction. We've all heard stories about how a person got into bad company and ruined their life. The same thing happens in a positive way when they say, "He was lucky to become successful and rich because he got into a great company." After all, everything in our field of vision affects us in one way or another, and people to a great extent. You have to admit, in a society where everyone is more successful than you, there is a strong desire to strive to reach their level and be on the same level as them. While in the company of people who are not striving for anything, it is very easy to forget about your own goals and dreams. Never invest in a business you can't understand. Warren Buffett refused to invest in technology throughout his investing career, and he explained his decision very simply: "I don't understand it." Before making a decision, he usually spends a long time poring over documents and studying every last detail. Only then does he make a final decision. This approach allowed him to become one of the richest and most successful investors in the world, an example and teacher for all those who want to understand the subject. Therefore, before you buy shares of any company, listen to the advice of the best investors and do not be lazy to spend time to study them, of course, if you want to get a big profit. I've seen more people fail because of liquor and leverage. Leverage being borrowed money. You really don't need leverage in this world much. If you're smart, you're going to make a lot of money without borrowing. The key to success, according to Buffett, is to think soberly and to manage only the money you have. Lack of money has a very negative impact on your standard of living, but debt puts you in a hole that is much harder to get out of. Buffett is certain that leverage was invented so that brokers could make more money from investors who wanted to get everything at once and as much as possible. That is why in investing, as in any other activity, it is extremely important not to rush things, to rationally assess one's own capabilities, and to take thoughtful actions based on the real state of affairs. Successful investing takes time, discipline, and patience. No matter how great the talents or efforts, some things just take time. You can produce a baby in 1 month by getting 9 women pregnant. We all want results as quickly as possible, and every story of a successful person we read in a book or hear in a video is presented to us as a quick and easy way to get what we want. Was poor and suddenly became rich. But the thing is, the time spent describing the life path has nothing to do with the time spent in real life. For example, 2 words can describe what a person has been doing persistently for several years. The sooner you realize that even the richest people became that way through daily discipline, perseverance, and work, the sooner you will begin to follow the path that will lead to wealth and to you. The most important investment you can make is in yourself. Continuing education and training rank high among Warren Buffett's values. He graduated from 3 universities: University of Pennsylvania, University of Nebraska-Lincoln, and Columbia University. He then enrolled at the New York Institute of Finance. In addition, he continues to devote time to self-education. The first book that became his personal guide to the world of finance was 1,000 Ways to Make $1,000. He came across it at the age of 7, and it made an indelible impression on him. Since then, Buffett has never stopped reading. He once admitted in an interview that he reads 500 pages a day because he believes that knowledge accumulates like compound interest. Only when you combine sound intellect with emotional discipline do you get rational behavior. Rich people are often thought to be calculating and overly rational in their dealings. But think about it. Would they be able to own and reasonably manage millions of dollars in profits if they were overly emotional? Buffett believes it is impossible. To develop emotional discipline, there is an effective exercise. For 1 week, try not to evaluate events. Don't label them as good or bad, but accept things as they are. And remember, if you make this a habit, you will develop a trait common to millionaires. Give this video a thumbs up if you're ready to adopt this habit starting today, so you can make $1 million in sales in 6 months. Without passion, you don't have energy. Without energy, you have nothing. Passion is the most important ingredient for success. Think of the classic Mark Twain in his book, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. Tom didn't want to paint the fence, so the job was very difficult for him. But as soon as he got the other boys interested, as soon as their eyes lit up and they had a great desire to get to work, the job was done. They painted the fence perfectly, ahead of schedule, and were full of energy for other accomplishments. Inner passion and a genuine love for what you do will help you achieve great results with minimal effort. Tell me who your heroes are, and I'll tell you who you'll turn out to be. Buffett considers his father, Congressman and businessman Howard Buffett, to be his life's hero. He was the man who became a role model for young Warren. He remembers paying more attention to what his father did than to what he said. This is the only way to learn true wisdom from another person. The development of each of us as individuals has been influenced most of all by our parents. After all, most of our habits come from them. And if you suddenly think that you are not so lucky with some of the qualities you have inherited, do not despair. You have the power to change them. Only you have the power over your own desires, and most importantly, over your own actions. Do not take yearly results too seriously. Instead, focus on 4 or 5 year averages. Everyone acts differently. Some make decisions quickly, take risks and lose everything, or make a profit and get even more. Others take their time, weigh the pros and cons, and take the long game. It's up to you to decide how to act. But Buffett advises what he himself uses, a long-term strategy. It manifests itself, for example, in his investment management rules. The essence is that he invests money in companies that generate real income only after several years. That is why he is completely calm in situations where stocks have not increased in value in the first 2 years, but looks at the big picture 5 years later. Taking into account the level of Warren's capital today, we can tell that this method is quite reliable and working. Opportunities come infrequently. When it rains gold, put out the bucket, not the thimble. Although really good opportunities do not come infrequently, they come into our lives much more often than we are able to notice them. Warren Buffett never missed an opportunity to make money. While still in high school, he sold Coca-Cola, chewing gum, and magazines. Later, he repaired cars. After saving some money, he and a friend bought a used pinball machine and placed it in a local barbershop. The profits from this machine became Buffett's first passive income and motivated him to improve his investing skills. Recognize the opportunities and, most importantly, take advantage of them. You will be successful if the people who you hope to have love you do love you. In a society that celebrates your accomplishments and mourns your failures, it is much easier to achieve your goals than in a society that does the opposite. That is why it is so important to learn how to deal with people, to treat them well, to connect with them, and to do the best for them with the best motives. After all, every behavior, every action, and therefore every cause has a consequence. Warren Buffett often donates money to foundations and helps those in need. The amount of charitable donations as of 2023 exceeds $50 billion. He does not regret giving such large sums because he is convinced that the more he gives, the more he receives. You know, you keep doing the same thing and you keep getting the same result. Actions are what produce results. If you keep doing the same thing and you keep getting the same results, that's a direct sign that you need to try a different way. Of course, there are situations where it is important to be patient and persistent. But persistence is when you try several methods to achieve a goal. And if one doesn't work, you just move on to the next one, and so on until you reach your goal. Now, stubbornness is trying to do the same thing but expecting a different result. To get what you want, you must learn to observe and analyze your actions and adjust them when necessary. You must control your time, and you can't do that unless you say no. You can't let people set your agenda in life. Every time you agree to do something that is important to someone else, you are denying yourself. Therefore, you should be very attentive to the requests of others, lest one day you find that you have saved the whole world and forgotten yourself. Of course, helping others is the highest virtue, but help should be based on a sincere desire. If you find yourself in the habit of agreeing to everything that is asked of you, pay attention, recognize it, and promise yourself to work on setting personal boundaries. Doing so will help you free up a tremendous amount of time, effort, and energy to achieve your own goals. I don't look to jump over 7-foot bars. I look around for 1-foot bars that I can step over. In our society, it is common to overcome difficulties so that we can say, "Look what I've been through." But Warren Buffett, the man who ranks 7th on the list of the world's richest people, urges not to take the hard road. He recommends focusing on what is easy for you. After all, hard does not equal more. Do what you are good at, choose the path that is easiest for you. Then you will not have to torture yourself every day, and money will come to you with ease and joy. I wish that you get 6-figure sums in your bank account from such a state. Write in the comments what activity is easy for you and can increase your profits. This was Money Quotes Channel. Get rich with us.